quickly towards the startup side of it, like we discussed. How can a founder who's just starting out their journey really start to think in this manner, and how can they begin to adopt design thinking principles right from the beginning of building their business?
Okay. So first thing is, see, there are a few things that I will like to tell for a new entrepreneur. First thing is, sometimes we struggle in realizing that what are we going to actually do. Okay, about business is not yet set. I am just about to start. Where do I start? What do I do? Um, so what I see tell you is the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs do at this stage is look for the hot thing other entrepreneurs are doing or their friends, their peers are doing, and then say, that sounds lucrative, let me try that out. What happens is you start doing it, but halfway you realize that you are dragging yourself. This is not your thing. So my suggestion is, first thing, if you are unsure that where you start, ask yourself that if you get one day to spend with someone or something, and you can spend that one complete day, never get bored, either talking to that person or people or that thing, taking care of that thing. If you have something like that, then you are on the right track. Okay. So what do you do if that's a people, that's say for example, if I don't get bored talking to elderly people, like probably my grandparents, somebody else's grandparents, I can easily connect with them. I can talk. Or say on the other hand, if you can easily connect with children, you know that you should be doing something about that, about them, some problem that they face. So if we sometimes say, that somebody is too much pro feminine feminist kind of, that's fine. If somebody is pro somebody, I mean, if somebody is pro feminist or somebody, then you look for what problem they face now. Okay, and then try to solve it. That gives you a direction. And if it's a thing, if it's something like, say for example, animals or plants, you can look into an aspect that how you can actually do something about it. Okay, so this is point number one, that where do you start. Point number two is spending as much time as possible with that identified thing or person. Okay, so understand what they like, they dislike, they aspire to, and then you look at what is the ideal solution that would have helped, and what is the current alternative that is there. What is the gap? Because that's the gap you are going to explore. So this is what you are doing, empathizing essentially, right? You are the more you talk to people, the more you try to understand. Or sometimes what happens is, since I say empathize, mostly people think that my idea has to be human centric. That's why I said it can be a thing also. It can be plants also. Like you can go ahead and say that I want to create home gardening stuff. Fine, you go ahead and do that. If you are in love with plants, if you want to have a vision that everybody who wants to have a plant, loves plant, should have the plant in their home, irrespective of whether they are in a small house or a big house, right? So people have created businesses around it. So that's point number two, that how you can actually identify that. And remember one thing, when you are defining the problem, this is the second part of design thinking. When you are defining the problem, don't make the mistake of putting any kind of idea in it. For example, say you are trying to you're trying to create a product or a service through which somebody can easily identify the COVID hotspots around. Okay, now if in your problem statement you say that how can I make an app that will help me find out COVID hotspots, you have killed your imagination immediately. Because the moment you said how can I create an app, you are talking about an idea. When you are in defined stage, never make the mistake of talking about an idea. Keep it that how do I help somebody identify COVID hotspots around him. That's it. Now that will give you far more richer ideas, right? Now coming to the ideation part of design thinking, people make a mistake of falling in love with their own ideas rather than falling in love with the user. Remember one thing, remember, you have to fall in love with your user or the thing that you are caring for. And if you are talking about a user, be in love with that people so much that you really care to solve it, and you don't care if somebody else gave you an idea. Most of the time, we come up with very bad products because we fell in love with the first idea that we got, and we couldn't come out of it. Even if people said that no, this is not good, we always gave them reasons, and that's something called confirmation bias. We always look for reasons that support our idea. So don't fall prey to confirmation bias at all. That's the go-to thing. Next part for prototyping and test is about you should be you should be keeping with you a kind of a setup that helps you in creating faster agile prototypes. That can be online ways, that can be offline ways, but ensure that those prototyping procedures are easy for you to be agile, easy for you to make changes in it, and multiple times you can do that. You can erase things because, say, if you are spending, say, prototyping is not about completing. Don't feel happy that let me complete the prototype first. Design thinking, when you are applying, you should not be worried about whether you are able to complete the prototype. You should be able to communicate your idea through the prototype and show it to your user. Take feedback, make the changes, and keep on refining it. The final thing that you get is very close to your final product. That's how prototyping has to be. And last suggestion, this is not a part of design thinking, but this is something that I always see happening with entrepreneurs who get into an industry which is quite old. Okay, they tend to follow conventions. We always keep on conforming to things, conforming to the leaders of the industry. To give you an example, I'm seeing this happening this all around. E-grocery market, okay? E-grocery market, if you see that, the moment I say e-grocery, what comes in your mind? There has to be an app, there has to be a website, all the products will be cataloged. I'll go and I'll add, there will be a partner who will deliver. That's it. That's how it works, right? Remember, no smarter men than you actually created this norm. Why do you have to stop there? Why do you have to think that you will have to essentially create an app or a website just because people are comfortable with it? Are every people comfortable with that? Have you seen during this COVID-19, the elderly people, they actually are almost stuck in their house. They are not able to go because people are telling that they are the biggest targets. They are more vulnerable to this COVID, right? So they are not able to go out as well, and they are not the ones who are very easily can go on this online stuff, be that on WhatsApp or be that a website or anything. So why can't we think, take this app or website thing out of our mind and say that if somebody is not able to get a grocery, how do I help that person get it? Go a little more niche. Why you have to copy what already somebody has done and then cry that that person is so big, Geomart has come, I will be out of the business very soon. You don't have to be worried if you are looking at a niche, but you are not looking at a niche. That's the problem. So that's why we should be focusing more on now when we are designing our products.